This video is going to talk about the format of the class, which corresponds to the text on this page. This class is a hybrid class. It is supposed to have asynchronous lectures and face-to-face labs. Asynchronous is just a fancy way to say I've pre-recorded all the lectures. For lecture each week, you will have 2 lectures. That is how it is arranged in a face-to-face class. So if we go to the home page, I've scrolled all the way down to the bottom. There's the bone I find humorous. We have week 1. Language of anatomy and the cell are the lectures. Week 2. Tissue and the skin are the lectures. Week 3. Supporting connective tissue and the axial skeleton are the lectures. To access the lectures, you will click there. And it will pop it open. We have week 1, language of anatomy and cell. Now, in the face-to-face class, you would have one of the lectures on Monday or Tuesday, the other lecture on Wednesday and Thursday. So that is how I put it. Lecture 1, Monday, Tuesday, you'll click on this link. Lecture 2, Wednesday and Thursday, you will click on this link. So if you go to the course calendar over here, you'll see the lectures are assigned Mondays and Wednesdays. When I lecture face-to-face, I can ask questions, find out if students are getting the material. I can't really do that here. So I have follow-up assignments. They're due 3 days after the lecture is assigned. So if we look at the calendar, and this is really small, I hope it's bigger on your screen. We have lecture 1 here. It's assigned on that Monday. The follow-up is over here, lecture 1.1 follow-up. It is due on Wednesday. Now it's up to you when you want to do it. You can do it before lab. Our labs are on Tuesdays and Thursdays. You could do it after lab. You need to do it and keep up, though, because if you put everything off till Sunday night, you have 6 hours of lecture on Sunday night, and you will get behind very quickly. So the follow-ups are to keep you from falling behind, and so I could check your understanding. Now, in the face-to-face class, you would normally have lecture before lab. I like lecture before lab. The lab makes more sense. You may want to have lecture after lab. Now, there's other stuff in here. So here's lecture 1. Here's the follow-up due 2 days afterwards. So see January 24th, January 26th. I have a study guide. This is what I want you to know, and I'll ask you on the test. You probably want to answer these questions as you go. Now I have other resources for you as well. So chapter 2, the cell. I have the study guide. I have other resources. I have the follow-up activity. The follow-up activity is not always the same number. This course was originally designed for an all online course, and there was other stuff in here sometimes. And if I change numbers, it breaks all the links in the course. So if I go to another week, I will click on a week at random. We have our lecture, Monday, Tuesday joints, the follow-up, the study guide. Muscle tissue, Wednesday, Thursday, the lecture, the study guide. And when you go to the lecture pages, you will see a quick introductory text, a silly picture. Then I have reviews for the last lecture. This is not part of your 90-minute lecture. It's just I like reviewing in a face-to-face class, so I thought it'd be useful for you. And then you have different lectures. So this is part 1. You click on it, you watch the YouTube. Part 2, part 3, part 4, and so forth. Most of the lectures have 6 parts. Some of them have more, some of them have less. Each video is around 10 to 15 minutes. I strongly suggest you put in a time in your calendars for the day. Block out 90 minutes on Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday for one lecture, on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday for the other lecture. You'll, in theory, have 6 hours of lecture. You would have that in a face-to-face class. Please don't do it all on the same day. Now, lectures are titled 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way up to 24. I have PowerPoint files too. Students have asked for them, so I left them up. They correspond to the book. This is the Excel file that corresponds to what I gave you in your syllabus. So here we have the lecture number. 1, levels of organization. 2, the cell. 3, tissue. 4, integumentary system. 5, bone. 6, the axial skeleton. Now in the textbook, chapter 1, chapter 2, oh, I skipped a chapter. It's development. It doesn't make sense to do development before learning about anything else. So lectures get off really quickly. This hasn't confused people in the past. I'm worried it's going to confuse people because I gave you guys old study guides as well that listed chapter numbers as well as lecture numbers. So just know that the textbook chapters do not correspond to the lecture. If we look down here, lectures 13 and 14 are actually the same chapter in the textbook. 10 and 11, same chapter, so they get off. We have lab 2 days a week. You guys are going to come to lab for 3 hours and 5 minutes. Expect to stay for the entire time. Attendance is mandatory unless you are sick. See the sick policy in the syllabus. It is constantly changing. Please do not come to class sick though. I will require positive tests or doctor's notes, but I have makeup labs. That is not a problem. However, the first 30 to 40 minutes, I'm going to go over things. It's important you show up on time. I'm trying not to make this a lecture, but that's why I would do in a face-to-face class. I found it's a good opportunity to hammer in key points. Now, there's going to be lab book pages, there's going to be histology. The histology is due that day at midnight if we're doing it. What I'm going to have you do is I'm going to have you take pictures on your cameras, on your phones, label it. I find this is a lot more effective than coloring them in, which a lot of classes still do. Yes, you look at it really hard, but I flunked art, and I have many students who claim they can't draw, however they draw a lot better than I do. So to upload the histology, again, just scroll down to the bottom. I have a link to the module. You click it there, and then here we have the different labs. As you can see, I still need to work on ordering this because it's October right now, 4 months before the class starts. So the other thing we're going to do in lab is the lab book. Now, the lab book's going to have activities in it. So I could see, do you understand it, to make you look at it. And we'll do other activities that I'll collect or check physically in person as well. But here's an activity where you're going to look at cavities in our body, not in your teeth, you have other cavities, and just what organs are found in it to get you guys to look at this models. And I will collect this the next class period. So I'll collect it on a Thursday if we do it on Tuesday, or on a Tuesday if we do it on Thursday. So here's an activity for the second lab. What are the organelles? We'll look at this model and a couple other models. Now we are not going to do all the activities. So see this one down here? I have a lot of matching. I left it in the lab book. However, my lecture follow-ups are pretty much these matching. I don't have it word for word identical. It's actually faster for me to type it out than to cut and paste and change windows. Now in lab we'll do other things too. We'll label models in class. We'll do organ pinnings. I'll give you a preserved specimen, either a cadaver or a heart or a brain, and you'll stick pins into it. You'll label things. So you'll be doing other activities besides the lab book, because I would find that rather boring. Now, each lab will have some sort of checkout. This lets me see, did you understand it or not? Now, in the past, I've had everybody line up. I've asked them. However, we're going to try to social distance. Therefore, I might give you a quick thing to do on your phones. If you don't have a smartphone, I can still do it manually. I might do a group checkout instead of an individual checkout. And it just lets me see, do you understand things? And it lets you see, do you understand it, or are you trying to rush out because you want to get to your next class or something? So this video explains the class format. There's going to be other videos explaining tests, assignments, and so forth. Thank you.